G'day guys and welcome back to another One Piece deck profile and welcome back to another starter deck budget build series profile. For those of you that may be your first one that you are seeing of our budget build for the starter decks, essentially what we do is take two of the starter decks right here, combine them together and give you guys what we think is our optimal build from the card pool that is available just in the starter decks. And for today's video we're going to be doing it with Yamato. We'll probably have one for the Black Luffy deck that also released alongside the Yamato here. We will also be having a fully optimized build of Yamato coming out just because it is a great leader. Some nice new stuff for yellow. So if you do want to see that profile, make sure you are subscribed to the channel so you don't miss out when that does drop as well. But let's have a look at the brand new leader, Yamato. So Yamato is the standard yellow 5000 power, starts with 5 life. The effect is Don times 1 on your opponent's turn. If you have 2 or less life cards, this leader gains 1000. So turns into a bit of Whitebeard late game, which is really nice. Early game with Yamato, you don't mind taking hits. There are a couple of effects that you have with some of the characters that also help reduce your life a bit quicker. And then also you have a few effects that help you to recover life so you can stick around that 2 life mark. We also introduced a lot of Land of Wano kind of support and tech, which features quite heavily here in the deck as well. So we'll be going over some cool nifty plays and cards with that. First up, we're going to talk about a card that helps us build a lot of board presence, and that is Yushimaru. So we're running a full playset of Yushimaru. It's a 5 cost 6000 body, so it is only going to help you spam out the board mid to late game, but it's important that we know what this card is and the targets that we can play out from it. But the effect is Don times 1 when attacking. You may add 1 card from the top or bottom of your life to your hand. Play up to 1 yellow Land of Wano type character cards with a cost of 4 or less from your hand. So you are negging yourself a life, but you're getting closer to turning on Yamato's effect to give that 6k body to your leader on your opponent's turn. But then we've got a few different targets that we can play out. First up, the first target that we have is actually a blocker. We're running a full playset of Shinobu. So 3 cost 2000 body, no counter. Blocker as we mentioned, and then on block you may add 1 card from the top or the bottom of your life to your hand. This character gains 4000 during the battle. So really cool way to start to reduce your life so you can get that effect switched on for Yamato a lot quicker there. And that 4k buff is really nice. So you're buffing yourself up to 6k blocker, which is really nice. Sometimes hard for your opponent to deal with, which means it may stick around for multiple turns there. The next card that is playable has a very similar effect to the Shinobi, which is the Yamato, and this is the only 2k counter that we have access to in the deck, so we're automatically going to be running a full play set. But Yamato is a 3 cost 3000 body. When attacking, you can add the top or bottom card of your life to your hand. This character gains 2000 power until the start of your next turn. So when you attack, you're going to be swinging for 5 if you just trigger that effect, and it's going to stay 5 until the beginning of your next turn, which is really nice to see. So 2 cards, very similar effects, one for defensive type plays, other more for offensive type plays. The next target that we have is a full playset of Omusubi. Probably butchered that like I did in the other video, but 3 cost 4000 body, 1000 counter. It does have a trigger, so kind of a brand new trigger for some characters that we've never seen before. So instead of just automatically playing it out, the trigger is to KO one of your opponent's characters at the cost of 1 or less, then you can add this to your hand. Quite handy. There's a lot of 1 cost blockers running around in most decks right now. Red choppers. For your green decks, beige, you've got all your searches that are 1 drops, which is most colors, so you can definitely get some good value off the trigger there. The next card, which is a very similar one, we're running 4 Tempura. So Tempura is a 4 cost 5000 body, 1000 counter. The trigger is you rest one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 2 or less, then you can add this to your hand. That effect, yeah, not as good as the previous one that we just looked at, but can come up, especially if your opponent is gone wide with low to the ground. So really good into Law and Zoro that like running those low cost bodies. Sometimes your opponent may get a bit greedy and play out their low cost blocker, then swing in, then you can rest it that way, which can be nice sometimes. The next card that can be spammed out of Yoshimaru's effect is a vanilla, which is Momo, which is a 2-cost 4,000 body, 1,000 counter. Nice vanilla there. And the last target for Yoshimaru is another vanilla full playset of Monkey D. Luffy, 3-cost 5,000 body, 1,000 counter. So you have a whopping 24 targets for Yoshimaru. So really cool to see. A lot of them are lower cost bodies right there, which is cool. The Momos, you only 2-cost bodies. So generally you probably do want to go second with the deck and hopefully have like a Momo in hand there. Otherwise, you do have a lot of 3, 4, 5 drops in the deck as well. Alright, next up we're going to be looking at some of the other characters we are running. We're running a full playset of Kaido. So Kaido is a 4-cost 5,000 body, 1,000 counter. The effect is Don times 1 if you have 2 or less life. This character cannot be KO'd in battle. So switches on the same time Yamato does can be quite nasty because the only way it can be removed is through effects. So you're definitely making your opponent waste their removal on the Kaido. Hopefully they've maybe used their removal on things previously to you playing out your Kaido, which means it'll just be super annoying. You can keep swinging with it. The next card that we're running another vanilla full playset of Ulti. So 4 cost 6,000 body, 1,000 counter. Really nice to see there. Alright, moving on to I guess essentially the boss characters of the deck. We're running 3 of the Ace. So Ace is a 6-cost 7,000 body, no counter. Once per turn, if this character would be KO'd, you may trash 1 card from the top or bottom of your life instead. So it does help you switch on the Yamato effect sooner when you don't really mind triggering that effect to save the Ace, just because it does turn on the Yamato faster. The next one that we're running 3 of the Kazuki Odin. So Odin is a 7-cost 7,000 body, no counter. Don times 1 gains double attack, really nice. The on KO is also really cool. You may trash 2 cards from your hand and up to 1 card from the top of your deck to the top of your life. So a nice form of recovery. We've got plenty of cards that want to neg us a life, and this is one of the few cards that we have that allows us to regain some life. The double attack pressure is also really nice, so if you do find that you are behind the game, which generally with yellow you do have a bit of a slower kind of grindier play style, this can definitely help you out quite a lot. And 7,000 is the beefiest kind of character we have access to in the deck as well. So the Ace is really good if you do find yourself going first because you get a nice on curve, and the Odin is nice if you end up going first on curve as well. Alright, rounding out the deck, we're going to have a look at the event cards that we have access to. The first one is we have a full playset of Arrow. So it is a 1-cost counter, so if you have 2 or less life, same as the Yamato, you can give up to one of your opponent's leaders or characters minus 3,000 for the turn. So not just the battle, the turn. So really good when you come against things that can restand and swing again. So a lot of shenanigans going with green there, as well as the Lucci. The trigger is another form of recovery for life. You may trash 2 cards from your hand, add up to 1 card from the top of your deck to the top of your life. So similar to the Kazuki Odin's on KO effect, except you can just trigger that out of life. So sometimes that does come up where you just need to recover one to save your butt a bit. Otherwise, it is just a great counter to have in hand. The last card that we're running in the deck is a full playset of Thunder Bagua. So this is a 2-cost counter. You're giving something 4,000 for the battle. Then if you have 2 or less life cards, you can add one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 3 or less to the top or bottom of their life face up. So it can be really good. You are helping your opponent recover something, but you may be able to just get rid of an extra character which may deal the final blow for the next turn. So it can definitely just help you survive an extra turn, clinch out a win that way. It can also help you get rid of pesky cards that have nasty effects. Alright, and there is the deck in all of its glory. Let us know what you think of this budget build. As we said, we'll probably have one coming up for the Luffy as well. If you're interested in that, make sure you are subscribed. And as we also mentioned before, we're going to have an optimized build of Yamato coming out as well. Let us know in the comment section below if you want to see anything else profiled here on the channel. Otherwise, thank you so much for checking out the video. Stay beautiful, and we'll see you all in the next one.